Vietnam quietly launched the Invisible Killer, a small weapon capable of startling even giant fleets in the East Sea. The suicide USV, a maritime unmanned aerial vehicle replica, is no longer a technological rumor but a cold declaration that the rules of the game may need rewriting. When invisible killers begin to glide through the waves in darkness, all warships must relearn fear. Information released officially from the Military Ship Design Institute shows Vietnam has achieved a notable advancement. Successful trial production of unmanned surface vehicles, USVs, domestic suicide drones, and concurrent. This is not just about a new weapon model but reflects a strategic shift from traditional warfare to asymmetric, automated, and multi-layered combat platforms. Suicide USVs have proven effective on the Black Sea battlefield, where cheap tools inflict significant damage on expensive enemy assets. UUVs open a dimension of silent warfare, hard to detect and capable of changing maritime defense approaches. Notably, the research side maintained long silence. The project started years ago, carefully built from many shipbuilding experience and autonomous control platforms. The announcement at this time signals Vietnam's readiness to join the naval robotics race, choosing to enhance deterrence through intelligence and efficiency over quantity. Amid tensions in the East Sea, where naval, coast guard, and maritime militia presence increases, any military tech moves by coastal states are closely watched. The Military Ship Design Institute's public disclosure of successful suicide USV development and ongoing UUV research not just for the product's technical aspects but for its deep strategic implications. Suicide USVs with low cost, high mobility, and ability to damage expensive maritime assets have proven their value. Now, with similar models appearing in the East Sea, regional rivals' defense calculations must change. Additionally, Vietnam's UUV research shifts focus from surface to underwater warfare, a less visible but crucial strategic layer. Where information is tightly controlled and technological superiority makes a decisive difference, the question arises, will this announcement alter the regional deterrence balance? Is Vietnam choosing the path of traditional arms racing or building an integrated unmanned combat ecosystem? More importantly, how will domestic USV and UUV development impact political, diplomatic, and legal consequences in a multilateral environment, where military actions easily trigger? There are also questions about safety, control, and tech governance. How to leverage technological advantages while avoiding an uncontrolled arms race. These questions aren't just for military experts but also for policymakers, international partners, and domestic public opinion. Suicide USVs and UUVs aren't just standalone attack or reconnaissance tools. They're elements of a multi-layered unmanned combat ecosystem. A suicide USV is essentially a low-cost weapon capable of inflicting heavy losses if it reaches high-value targets like warships or launch platforms. When deployed in numbers, they shift the cost balance, forcing opponents to spend more resources on asset protection or accept higher risks. UUVs in the underwater realm had capabilities for signal collection, seabed surveying, mine destruction, or discrete target approach without drawing attention. Combining surface USVs, underwater UUVs, and aerial UAVs creates multi-layered attack, reconnaissance, and jamming capabilities. A coordinated formation allowing complex missions at much lower cost. For Vietnam, this model suits its long coastline, limited resources for ship quantity races, and needs to protect fishing areas, shipping lanes, and economic entities. Focusing on autonomous tech and integrating unmanned platforms maximizes deterrence effectiveness within budget constraints. Best Tech Foundation didn't. The history of mini-submarine manufacture, like T-75 and TN-300 models, laid the groundwork for understanding pressure hulls, guiding control systems, and sonar sensor integration. Simultaneously, research on autonomous control for USVs developed software frameworks, navigation algorithms, and experience integrating batteries. Combining submarine hull experience and surface autonomous platforms is a logical path for UUV development. However, remaining technical challenges are significant. Underwater positioning without GPS, effective acoustic communication, energy sources, sonar jamming resistance, and autonomy in complex environments with currents, temperature, and obstacles are major hurdles. If Vietnam is progressing toward independent UUVs, it means they've partly overcome or found acceptable technical solutions for these issues, a notable achievement. The emergence of domestic USVs and UUVs will force neighbors and extra-regional powers to adjust strategies. Impacts include changes in deterrence calculations. Opponents must weigh costs of protecting expensive assets against cheap weapon threats. or enhanced close-range combat capabilities, leading to increased motivation for regional navies to develop countermeasures that accelerate the deployment of close, early warning networks, sonar arrays, and anti-USV measures like electronic warfare systems and CSA. Diplomatic pressure for new weapon announcements has sparked political reactions. Discussions at multilateral forums like ASEAN, bilateral channels, and demands for greater transparency on usage and Vietnam will need to skillfully balance to avoid unnecessary escalation while protecting freedom of action in its waters. Impact cooperation in supply chains. A country with UUV production capacity could become a tech partner for smaller regions, or enhance cooperation with Western partners, leading to shifts in political balances in international relations. The emergence of unmanned weapons in all forms raises issues of control, distinguishing civilian and combat targets, accountability for system failures, and risks of tech proliferation to non-state actors. Vietnam, in developing and announcing this tech, must consider technical safety mechanisms, operational procedures, and domestic legal frameworks for management. Simultaneously, the international community is discussing principles for autonomous weapon use, establish usage rules, and participate in regional mechanisms to minimize tension risks. Developing domestic USVs and UAVs can promote supporting industries, high-capacity battery production, sonar manufacturing, control software, communication modules, and this both enhances national defense industrial capacity and opens future cooperation. However, the risk is that without a clear industrial strategy, projects may be costly without achieving competitive effectiveness. To optimize benefits and reduce risks, policies need to be considered, transparent, selective, and announce sufficient. While combining policy usage explanations to avoid misunderstanding, invest synchronously in developing defense systems, networks, and training high-specialized personnel instead of focusing on isolated platforms. Build laws and ethics with clear regulations on operational scope, system error control, and responsibility when incident. Actively participate in technical diplomacy at regional forums to propose management mechanisms for maritime unmanned, aiming to minimize the risk of unintentional. Multilateral cooperation should consider technical collaboration with partners to enhance safety standards and avoid Vietnam's announcement of kamikaze UAVs and disclosure of UAV research is a symbolic and substantive turn. Symbolic because it changes perceptions about how a coastal nation can enhance deterrence without expensive arms races. Substantive because if the technology is effectively deployed, it will change how sovereignty protection and maritime security. However, long-term success comes not only from prototype manufacturing capability but also depends on integration,
building appropriate legal and diplomatic frameworks, and managing technical and political risks.
In the context where the South China Sea is the focus of competition, Vietnam's choice to develop domestic unmanned capabilities and announce when ready is a smart, low-profile, practical decision that bets on national intelligence rather than what.
Like the journey? Subscribe and join the next expedition.